So we got the 418 spoilers, and of course we are continuing the final battle between Izuku and Shigaraki as they are in their memory flashback phase thing that they're doing right now. And something absolutely wild happens at the end of this chapter. Like, someone comes back. I'm pretty sure you probably guessed who it was, but he's back, and it's wild. We'll get into it. So in the previous chapter, we saw that Izuku had pretty much transferred all of the remaining vestiges to Shigaraki, as we are witnessing the part of his memories where he manifested the decay quirk and accidentally killed his entire family. And coming into this one, the chapter begins with Deku feeling the same as in Jakku. When he saw Tenko deep inside, he tries to stop the tragedy, but it's too late. Tenko kills Mon and his sister arrives. Deku then turns into a child and holds Tenko's hand to stop decay before he kills Hana. Deku starts to decay, but since this is an imaginary world, he just has to keep visualizing his hand and holding Shigaraki's. He won't let go of it. Tenko asks why he's doing this, and Deku, eyes full of tears, says it's because he's crying. Tenko says that he chose to kill his family and destroy that house. That's what he keeps telling himself, because otherwise he'll never understand why he was born that way. Deku feels Tenko's emotions coming directly at him, and he says that he can't let go of his hand yet. Hatred, catharsis, sadness, and confusion are balanced inside of Tenko right now. He tells Deku to go away and remembers all the people who ignored him on the street, but Deku says that he feels relief when someone holds his hand, as he remembers Ida during the Dark Deku rescue. That's why I'm here. Deku and Tenko start to vanish, and in the next page we see Tenko playing with two kids on the playground, Mikun and Tomo-chan. Tomo-chan says that Tenko can play as All Might, and he smiles. I'm a villain. I hate and destroy things. The little Tenko that was next to Deku comes back, and behind him, we see the whole league, including Twice. Even if all my hatred goes away and I turn empty, I still need to become a hero to all those guys. The villains. So this is super interesting. First of all, Izuku experiencing the accidental decay death of Shigaraki's entire family. You know, as we talked about in the previous chapter, he was going to see this, and of course he tries to stop it. He is unable to, for the most part. I'll have to see the full chapter to analyze the rest of these panels more accurately. Also subscribe, guys, if you haven't already. I know a lot of you watch my videos from the recommended or browsing or whatever, and you don't subscribe, and I get it. I understand. I do the same thing myself sometimes. That's why I'm giving a reminder, so you can subscribe. You'll always be able to get my videos as soon as they drop. Also, you'll be able to see my chapter reviews when they come out, usually Friday or Saturday, probably Saturday morning, because in those videos I go way more into the chapters than I do in the spoiler ones. But real quick, guys, the Patreon Q&A is finally back. If you ever had a question that you wanted to ask me and also have it featured in a video that will be on the channel weekly, well, here's your chance. You can sign up by going to the link in the description. It'll give you instant access to the Q&A thread. And also, I really appreciate the support, guys. Thank you so much. But we're also seeing the conflicted Tenko here, saying that he chose to kill his family and destroy that house. Interesting that that house keeps coming up. There could be more to it, as we'll get into here, because destroying that house, that phrase that he uses, was also brought up for as well. Like, I think back when Shigaraki was fighting Star and Stripe, is that when he said it as well? But I do like how Izuku is trying to break through to him here, even reverting back to a child himself, at least in this imaginary vestige memory world that they're in. And it is somewhat helping. Like, Tenko is kind of balancing out at this point, and we are seeing him reverting to a different memory where he's on the playground, and he makes like this significant breakthrough to him where Shigaraki reveals something that he's never revealed in the entire series, where he says, even if all my hatred goes away and I turn empty, I still need to become a hero to all those guys, the villains, like the League of Villains. Shigaraki was the hero to them because they all kind of share similar backstories, similar upbringings, similar afflictions. Twice, a little different, still very damaged, but, you know, Dabi, Toga, Spinner, similar to Shigaraki, in all victims of circumstance, born in situations that they didn't want to be born into, and what ultimately led them to being damaged and these big supervillains that they became. They all, in their own ways wanted to do something bigger. And, if circumstances were different, they probably would have been heroes. But the unfortunate circumstances of their upbringing led them to becoming villains. And even they need heroes in their own, weird way. And that person is Shigaraki, because they ultimately got behind him. He was the one who led them, who gave them hope when they didn't really have it before. Like, it was a rocky start, of course. They weren't automatically on board with him. They were more on board with Stain. But eventually they realized that Shigaraki was the real, anti-All Might. It wasn't Stain so much. And Shigaraki realized that, because Shigaraki himself at one point kind of was on board with All Might, more so Nana. Like, he looked up to Nana as a child, like his grandmother, wanted to be like her, and I guess tangentially kind of like All Might as well. So Shigaraki himself sees this as his calling, because just like them, he probably could have became a hero as well if circumstances were different. We see some people cheering for Shigaraki to destroy the world, and a cop says that the fingers are disappearing. Just as things are starting to get better, it cuts to black. We then see Kotaro Shimura talking to a mysterious man from a construction company. Has Tenko's quirk manifested yet? Not yet. So this is a interesting twist here. So Kotaro is Shigaraki's father, and we can all guess this person that he's meeting with here. He's asking if Tenko's quirk is manifested yet. Not yet. He's obviously talking All for One here. And it's really interesting that he's also coming from a construction company. Goes back to him constantly talking about that house. It's like, does the house have something to do with All for One? Did All for One make the house? Not really sure, but I wouldn't really put it past him, since he does go through all these big, long, convoluted plans just to get to the point of where he feels that his plan is coming to fruition, of eventually getting One for All, targeting Nana's grandson, Nana, the previous holder of One for All. And I guess this is a way that is showing Shigaraki's father is even worse than we thought. Like, did he make some kind of deal with All for One so that he would have time with his son or something to give him the decay quirk? Or, I don't know. They're talking about Tenko, so I don't know if Kotaro deliberately made a plan with him. It's like, yeah, my son will be here, give him the quirk. Or he was just kind of keeping tabs on him and giving the house to Kotaro possibly to get closer to him so that he would have the opportunity to give the decay quirk to Shigaraki, because that still hasn't been revealed yet. I guess it'll be revealed soon. I thought it was going to be revealed 2 chapters ago, but it has to happen soon, because him saying, is Tenko's quirk manifested yet, goes back to us speculating that Tenko / Shigaraki was born quirkless. Most likely. Shigaraki says that he doesn't know what those memories are. Deku also realizes that these memories are not Tenko's. Kotaro's having dinner with this mysterious man and drinking wine. He asks about Tenko's quirk, and a giant All for One head appears in the vestige world. You foolish vessel. This useless boy was about to make you give up? You want to become stronger, but you've never gotten rid of your weakness. What a fool, Tenko Shimura. To this day, you've never made a single decision on your own. Vestige All for One is back. End of chapter. So yeah, this is the big twist at the end. All for One, his vestige is back, and he looks pretty epic too. Now, I don't know if this means that All for One is absolutely back, but I'm assuming that he is, because this isn't just a memory. He's directly interacting with the current situation that's going on with Izuku, trying to break through to Shigaraki / Tenko. He's well aware of what's going on. So I guess the aspect of All for One is still in the quirk factor of the All for One quirk, the very quirk that is in Shigaraki at this point. And I think I might have talked about this possibly being a thing, because while Bakugo did technically kill All for One, he just killed the tangible aspect of him. And I was thinking well, the All for One quirk factor is still existing in Shigaraki, so wouldn't that mean that there's a aspect of him still in it? If the other One for All vestiges can exist in the quirk factor of One For All, then I guess All For One could too, even if there was a duplicate quirk that he was using of it, you know? And it turns out that that must be the case. Now, I don't know how much more All For One is going to be able to do here, but it also goes back to what I was saying about Shigaraki / Tenko needs to be the one finally finishes off All For One. And if it's not them, then it needs to be the vestiges of One For All, or one big group thing. But I'll go more into this in my chapter review, guys. Let me know what you think about this in the comments, and if you liked it, please give it a like, and I'll see you in the next one.